Well, hey everybody, and happy Tuesday. Do you remember 2019? Oh, weren't those the days? We could go to movies, we could have house parties, we could go get groceries without wondering if we're going down the wrong aisle and following the arrows. We could go to Service, New Brunswick without spending an entire day in a lineup. There were no toilet paper shortages. We could go maskless, we could shake hands, we could give hugs. There were no limits or restrictions to going to worship. The good old days. Well, here we are back in the orange phase here, and of course that means that we're restricted to 2-house bubble, indoor and outdoor gatherings or 10 people or less, and that really put a kibosh on this past Sunday and possibly this Sunday to come as well. We need to continue to pray that this is short-lived, that the restrictions that are in place right now will work, and we can soon get out of this phase and back into the yellow, and prayerfully get back into the green. But I realize that going back into the orange is discouraging. I know it's frustrating. I know it hurts not to be able to come to church on a Sunday morning. Now, this discouragement and this frustration is nothing new to us Christians. Over the centuries, and of course even in Jesus' own day, there were frustrations, limitations that were placed on early believers. Now, sometimes these were things that were unavoidable, and sometimes, of course, they were in terms of persecution from authorities that did not appreciate the Christ followers. Now, this is not unprecedented even in Old Testament times of frustration, a time when we're thinking, oh God, why did this have to happen? Why are we in this place? Way back in the Old Testament, there's a very famous true story of Moses going into Egypt, and he was tasked with the job of going up to Pharaoh and saying, Pharaoh, I need you to let my people go. And of course, Pharaoh did not agree to this, and so with the help of God's power and the plagues, Pharaoh was finally convinced that I can't do this anymore, just go. That amazing exodus, followed by another great miracle, the parting of the Red Sea. Now we know as we look at the story and throughout the stories in the Old Testament that soon this became a distant memory. It didn't seem like that long ago, but the Israelites soon forgot these miracles and started complaining. Numbers chapter 20 verse 2-4 says this, Now there was no water in the community, and the people gathered in opposition to Moses and Aaron. They quarreled with Moses and said, If we had only died when our brothers fell dead before the Lord, why did you bring the Lord's community into the wilderness, that we and our livestock should die here? Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to this terrible place? It has no grain, or figs, or grapevines, or pomegranates, and there is no water to drink. Wilderness moments, while they can look frustrating and feel like despair, can also bring us to a place where we meet God, where God meets us. The wilderness place in the biblical story is never a simple place, is never easy in this place where we seemingly feel abandoned. When the Israelites were delivered from slavery in Egypt, it was the wilderness and wanderings that tested them and reorientated them toward God. Now, it took a few decades there, but they finally did reach out to God, get straight, and enter into the promised land. But they also were provided for, and their resources were provided for by the Lord. In seasons such as we are in right now, we find ourselves stripped of some rights that we used to have. It's important to understand that God is here. He will provide for us. And if there's a sense of us not being in control of this situation, we need to realize that God is in control. It is here that we meet God. It is here that we are offered a chance to get to know God better. It is here that we can depend upon God. It is here that we can ask questions like, God, what do you have for me here? And how can your power be shown here in this pandemic? The wilderness reveals to us how the gospel power always moves us and orientates us to God.